So I've been kind of, I mean, still following our themes, but in the morning I tend to do a little bit more loosey-goosey movement, not flow, but you know, just a little bit more movement because we're waking up first thing in the morning. And then the evenings trying to get into a little bit deeper stretches because we've been up longer and moving around longer. Even if we're not moving much, we're still a little different than just rolling out of bed. So awesome. Well, I'm going to move to my mat. Let's get ourselves started for our practice this evening so we can get everything in that we want to get in. And I'm happy to have you all as usual. It's so nice to have you guys tune in and to be here together. So thank you. It was warm out there today. I'm just cooling off. All right. So hi, Vidya.
Hi, Joanne.
Welcome.
Doing good. How are you?
Good. I had a request for quads and around the thighs and hips. Do you have anything in particular?
No, that's good with me. Thanks.
All right. Sounds good. So at this point, I'm going to mute you guys, but you always have the ability to unmute yourself, ask questions, comments, or use our chat box down there. So, and you've all been coming to my classes for October, which we're halfway through, which is crazy talk. So same props as usual. I know you guys all know this, but just go over them all quickly. Yoga blocks, if you have them, our small blankets or towels, any other pillows, cushions. Let's have our strap handy tonight, and of course, pillows and bolsters. So you're always welcome to start out in any supported position. And I've been starting all my classes in a reclined restorative pose. I just think it's a nice way to let our mind and body ground before practice. So one of the options is to use our chair. So if you have a folding chair or you're next to a sofa or a lazy boy, you can use that as well. And just to use the support of the seat of the chair to swing our lower legs up on. If you are near a wall and you want to scooch up towards the wall and slide your legs up the wall, you're more than welcome to do that. If we don't have either, you can just take a couple pillows underneath the legs, elevate them a little bit more than we would just underneath the knees, so that we get this very gentle inversion. If you happen to be using a chair like mine, you can always add extra cushion, or if it's a little lower, you need a little extra lift. Just make it work for you tonight. So I'm going to throw my towel over the edge of my seat, so I have a little cushion here for that. And I'm also going to add my folded blanket on my mat, so when I lie down, I have that as an extra cushion as well, because why not? Make it feel good. So we will start in the supported version of a pose that works for our body. So I'll give us all a moment to figure out where we want to be. Take support under the head, anything else that you might want. If we're swinging our legs over the seat of a chair, we don't need to have our thighs perpendicular to the floor. Let's actually try to have them at a little bit more of an angle, so the front of the hips aren't in that complete 90 degrees as we would be sitting in a chair. Well, release that low back, so if you give it a little lift and just lengthen out that upper buttock. Adjust those shoulders down, out, or under. Arm bones may roll open beside the torso here, palms up. Or even more opening, cactusing our arms out from the shoulders, bending at the elbows and the backs of the hands flopping to the floor. Once we get our body situated, make sure to loosen up the clothing, move those ponytails if you have them, rock the head out, finding the very back center of the skull. And then we'll eventually close our eyes. Take a smooth breath in through the nose, filling our body up this evening. And follow that with a smooth exhale out through the nose and feel the whole body release and relax. Let's do that one more time. One full cycle of breath. And then we will continue to turn our attention inward, starting with the physical body. Usually the easiest thing to feel and the thing that talks to us the most, if not the monkey mind, it's the body. So start to relax the body, feel the weight of the body tonight, letting go of any unnecessary tension or tightness we might find. Unfurl the brow, smoothing the skin across the face. Let the eyes sink into the sockets. Wiggle out the mouth, tongue, and jaw as needed, and then release that tongue and lower jaw to gravity. Relax the throat. This has been the area of our concentration, a little bit more in our practice, Vishuddhi chakra. The element is space. Working with this area of our body stimulates thyroid, parathyroid. Soften the heart and the chest, the back of the heart. Feel the weight of the arms sink into the ground. Relax the weight of the arms all the way down into the hands and the fingertips. Breathe and relax around the torso, down the back, vertebra by vertebra, around the waist, relaxing the abdomen completely. And then also feel that quality of heaviness around the hips, the pelvis, and letting that relaxation flow all the way down the legs, through those knees, into the lower legs, the ankles, feet, and toes. As we relax the muscles of the body, we can also release tension, stress, worries in the mind, which we often hold in our physical body. So clean it all out, let it all go. And now let's start to notice and feel the rhythm of our natural breath. Simply observe the breath flowing in and out of the body this evening. The quality of both the inhalation and the exhalation. And then we'll take this natural breath into a few moments of pranayama exercise where we try to smooth, equalize our breath, and add a little bit of our constriction in that vocal area around the vocal cords. So we'll start with Samavriti breathing. On our next inhale, we will all mentally count whatever number we're breathing in to fill ourselves up tonight. And when we get to our exhale, we will mentally count the same number out. Remember that we want to move at a comfortable rhythm. And we still want to feel that expansion as we breathe in through the abdomen, the rib cage, and all the way up into that throat area. And on the exhales, we want to feel that contraction as we empty the body, cleansing breath all the way from the throat back down to the abdomen. The next layer that we will try to add on to our pranayama is Ujjayi, our victorious breathing. Purposeful constriction, gentle contraction in the base and back of the throat. Never straining the breath or the throat, but trying to create that soft whisper-like or ocean-like sound. Again, it's almost like sipping air through a straw down the back of the throat. This breath also stimulates the area around the throat, helps release tension around the jaw area. It can work as a very meditative breath, giving our mind something to concentrate on. And during our asana practice, it can work as a powerful strengthening breath, this victorious conquering bondage breath. We may also notice that it slows our breathing down so that we could take longer, deeper breaths. So if you start to add 1 or 2 counts, just remember to try to keep it as equal as possible between the inhale and exhale. And we will all cycle through one more round at our own rhythm and pace. But this time, let's try to take our biggest breath of our day yet. So when we get to that next inhale, we are going to sip in as much air as we possibly can. Fill the whole body up from the bottom to the top. Expand and sip that air in all the way to the brim. And when we can no longer take any more air in, gently, smoothly start the exhale and releasing that breath out of the body. We'll put a little effort into this exhale so that we can squeeze it out, just like squeezing that last bit of toothpaste out of the tube. When we think we've exhaled all the air out, squeeze out even more. Exhale, exhale, exhale. At the bottom of that exhale, also try to release control of the breath as smoothly and gently as possible. It'll wander away wherever it wants to go. And we'll come back to our nice relaxed body here on the floor. And we'll start to gently wake the body back up. So just give the toes a little bit of a wiggle. Wiggle out those fingertips. Let's rock that head side to side. So depending where we are, we'll just give our body a little stretch or a little wake up. So if you are in legs up the wall, at this point, you will slide your feet down. Bring the soles of the feet to touch and the knees open to Baddha Konasana. Pause there for a moment to regulate your blood pressure. If our legs are on a chair, just go ahead and stretch one leg up at a time. You can press the back of the calf or the knee into the edge of the chair. And if you're lower down on the ground with your legs over some pillows, just take your nice long body stretch. We can reach our arms overhead if we have the space on our mat. If you're in legs up the wall, you'll bring your knees to touch. Push into the wall with your feet and just create enough space so that you can bring one arm beside the head and roll off to one side. At the chair, step your feet into the edge of the chair, hug your knees in. Or if you're on your back, you can hug your knees in for a moment. Just rock out that low back. And then we'll bring one arm beside our head, roll it on over to the side, and let's all pause for a moment because some of us have been in a little bit bigger of an inversion than others. So we want our blood pressure to regulate here. And then we'll press down to the ground and bring our bodies all the way back up. So some of us are going to need to resituate on our mats. Take your time clearing our space of our props that we don't need and adding props that we do need. So we're going to come right into our seated position. We can sit up on our cushions, our pillows, our yoga blocks, wherever we need to be to keep our spine nice and long and tall. Any position in those legs that's comfortable, whether that's crossed at the shin bones in Sukhasana or heel to heel alignment in Siddhasana. Move the flesh out of the way so that we can create a lot of length through our spine, improving our posture tonight. Do draw in a little bit through that lower belly just to support the back. We'll float our arms out beside the body. Palms will turn up. Let's take another nice deep breath in. Float those arms up, reaching up to the ceiling. Turn the palms out. Exhale, fingertips back down to the floor. So we'll keep going with these centering breaths, and we'll add a little bit of a neck stretch. So on our inhales, when you reach the arms up, we'll float the chin up. Do try to keep the back of the neck long, just don't drop the head backwards. On our exhales, arms down, keep the chest up. We're just stretching out the root of the neck by trying to drop the chin to the chest, but lift the chest up into the chin. Inhales, long neck, flip the chin up. See if we can roll our eyes up to the ceiling, give them a stretch. Exhale, keep the length up the spine, just drop the chin to the chest, stretching out the tops of the shoulders and the neck. One more time. Now the next time we get to an exhale and our fingertips are reaching towards the floor and our chin is dropped down to the chest, hold here. We may shrug our shoulders completely away from the ears and let the arms just hang like noodles, or extend the fingertips out a little bit. Inhale, roll the right ear to the right shoulder and gaze forward to give ourselves a little neck stretch to the side. Exhale, chin roll straight down to the chest. Keep that chest up. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder, gazing forward. And we're just rocking side to side. Let the shoulders sag. But our core is working to keep our spine nice and tall. Now we will meet the next time that our right ear is floating on top of our right shoulder. So we're stretching out the left side of the neck and the top of the left shoulder. So we can just literally hang out here as long as we maintain our posture. Arms are noodles, head is kind of a noodle. A little bit more, we float that left arm out, reaching it away from us. A little bit more, right fingertips come up. Remember, there's not a lot of pressure down on the neck. It's more lengthening it out. And another variation is left fingertips come to the top shoulder. I actually like my arm to be out and extended. Just kind of explore what feels best for you. Breathe into it. One more option, take the gaze down towards the lap, and you will get more of a stretch up the back of the neck. But our spine should still be long and at neutral. Don't round the upper back. We'll take one more breath in. Next exhale releases the arms back down. Head stays where it is, but we roll the chin straight back down to the chest. Look to the belly button. Inhale, both arms up, chin up. Exhale, arms down, chin down. Keep that chest up. Inhale, we'll roll our left ear to our left shoulder, and we'll hang out here for a while. So either the arms are just hanging like wet noodles beside the body, or you're extending out. Head can be fairly heavy here. A little bit more, reach that right arm out. Maybe more, left fingertips above the ear, just giving it a little stretch. You can explore the right fingertips to shoulders, see if you like that. And then maybe take the drishti down towards the lap to get the back of the neck a little bit more. We'll take one more deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll float the fingertips down, and we'll carefully roll our chin straight back down to our chest. Inhale, arms up, chin up, big stretch. Bring the palms to touch, and exhale to our center. So let's switch the cross of our legs, opposite foot in front. Give them a quick wiggle if needed. Continue to sit up tall. We'll take our twist tonight, but we're gonna hold our twist and breathe into it. So maintain this length. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, let's rotate to our right first. We will let our fingertips reach towards the opposite knee and slightly behind us. To begin with, let's start to continue that twist up the upper back, the shoulders, and allow the head and eyeballs to follow. So we'll peek behind us and breathe. Now open those eyes as wide as possible, looking for that furthest point behind us. Take another inhalation in the twist. We're going to keep our body in the twist, but on this exhale, we'll release just the head to look forward. And then we'll try to peek over our left shoulder. So body's twisting to the right, The head is twisting to the left. Take another deep breath in when you get there. And on our exhale, we'll release the head and the body to face back forward. Inhale, both arms up, create space and length. Exhale, rotate and twist to the left. Try to make sure those shoulders and chin stay parallel to the floor. Fingertips may reach to that opposite knee. We'll allow that twist to spiral all the way up to the upper back, the neck. Let the head and those eyes follow. Big, wide eye. Look to that furthest point behind you with those wide eyes. Breathe it in. Hold the twist in the body. Exhale, turn just the head to look forward. And then see how far we can peek to our right. Keep the body twisting to the left. Little sips of air. One more inhale in the pose. And then exhale, we'll unwind. Bring the head and the body back. So before we transition, let's do our lateral extension. Reach the fingertips out to the side again. Inhale, right arm up. Keep that sit bone rooted. We'll lean it over to the left. And feel your waist, your rib cage, and shoulder blade lengthen. Our inhale will pull us up out of the pose. We'll flow. Exhale to our other side. Big stretch. And we'll take it one more time to each side. Remember, the drishti can look down, forward, or up. We'll take it one more time over to each side. After we finish that last stretch, over to our right side. I know I've been getting this one mixed up. We'll meet back in center, reaching both arms up. Bring the palms to touch and exhale. All right, so hopefully we feel balanced side to side. Now let's move to our tabletop. We can all get there however works best for us. So we can crawl out over our legs. Again, make space for ourselves on our mats and go right into tabletop. So we'll spread those fingers nice and wide. Nice strong arms, stacking those joints. Float the head in line with the spine. Knees are right underneath our hips, and those toes can either be tucked or tops of the feet grounded. From here, we'll go right into some cat-cows. Come back to that Samavritti Pranayama. Inhaling into our gentle back bend, still maintaining space between the vertebrae. Exhaling, tailbone tucks under, draw the belly in. Round up and try to get that chin back towards that chest for that little bit of throat lock and stretch for the neck. Inhale, tailbone up. Chin reaches forward, eyes gaze up. Exhale, scoop, tuck, and round. We'll take a couple more or hold on to one of those if it feels really nice for the body. Once we balance ourselves out, we'll come right back to a neutral position. Do draw on that low belly just enough to support the spine. Keep those hips and low back level. Let's extend the right leg behind us. Toes are tucked under. We'll press our way back through that heel to intensify the stretch all the way up the back of that leg. Feeling that stretch of the calf muscle, eye of the knee, hamstring maybe. Exhale, let's bring it down. Same thing other side. Give that left leg a nice big stretch behind us. Shift the weight back to that heel. We should have equal weight in our hands and rooting down through the mound of the first knuckles. And exhale, we'll bring that knee down. Let's re-extend the right leg. We'll get into a little bit more balance and strengthening. So we'll squeeze our right side to hover that right leg parallel to the floor now. Actively flex that right foot. And then we'll bend our right knee so the sole of the foot is facing the ceiling. We'll move through crouching tiger 3 times. On our inhale, squeeze your back a little bit more to press the sole of the foot up and look up. On the exhale, point the toes so that you have space. Tuck the chin to the chest and pull the knee towards the nose. Inhale, sole of the foot presses up. We look up, strengthen the back. Exhale, tuck the chin to chest, pull the knee towards the nose. One more. Now we'll meet on an inhale with the sole of the foot pressed up. I have added this pose the last couple classes, and this will be a stretch for the front of that quad, half bow pose, for some of us anyway. So we'll try to extend the left arm forward. That might be where we are today, just balancing. If you want to try half bow, flip your left thumb down, reach around, point the toes of the right foot, and try to take the right foot into the left hand. And then as you kick the right foot into the hand, we'll feel that stretch to the front of the right quad, the hip, and it pulls our left shoulder back to stretch around the neck and the shoulder. Deep breath in. On the exhale, we will carefully release the knee and the hand back down to tabletop. Fingertips are Hasta Bandha or fists for wrists. If the wrists want to take a break, flow through a couple cat-cows to neutralize. And then we'll come back to neutral. Strong arms, low belly in, hips level. Left foot stretches back from the hip. Squeeze that left side to hover parallel to the floor. Let's bend that left knee so the sole of the foot is facing the ceiling. Crouching tiger. Inhale, try to press the sole of the foot up and look up, strengthening the back. Exhale, point the toes, tuck the chin, and draw the knee towards the nose. Inhale, you're pressing up. This tones and strengthens the glute, the hamstring, low back. Exhale, squeeze, stretch the back, strengthen the front. One more. Use that Ujjayi breath. We'll meet on the inhale, pressing upwards, adding balance. Right arm reaches forward. Stay there or flip the thumb down. Reach around, pointing the toes of the left foot, and then kicking that left foot into the right hand, stretching through the front of the quad and the right shoulder. Good, nice options. Give me a breath in. And exhale, release the knee and the hand down. Again, fingertips, fists for wrists, take a couple cat-cows. Once we get everything back to neutral, let's come off our hands completely, stretch out our hips and low back in our first child's pose. So open those knees wide, touch the toes, sinking the hips to the heels. We can continue to open the chest and the heart by opening the hands wider than the shoulders and extending those index fingers forward and then sinking the heart and the head towards the ground. Remember, if the head doesn't easily touch, stack your hands or forearms under the forehead. And sit back on some cushion or keep your hips elevated if you take care of your knees. And then just simply be and breathe. Allowing gravity to stretch out that lumbar area around those hips. One more breath. And then on our inhale, let's float the head up and the body back up. So we'll come back to tabletop here. We'll walk ourselves more towards the back of our mat with our toes tucked under in tabletop, and then we'll walk our hands at one hand's distance forward. Just to do a little hip opening, loosening, I should say, and little upper body strength. We haven't done these in a little bit. We won't do too many. Keep the low belly in. Inhale, glide into our kneeling planks. Form that straight line, knee, hips to shoulders. Exhale, we'll take our bow, toes are tucked under. Pop those palms if the wrists want to stretch. Inhale, come forward. Feel free to add that tricep push-up, bending the elbows into the rib cage as you exhale. Inhale, straightening. Exhale, taking our bow. Those of you feeling extra energy tonight, you can stay in your kneeling planks and practice your little tricep push-ups. Not me. And then the next time we come forward, or if we're already there, this will be the slow one. We'll try to lower down through this partial chaturanga dandasana all the way under our bellies. Let's stretch that chin forward. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Flatten out the tops of the feet. We'll open our feet wider than the hips if we take care of our low back, or we'll zip the feet and legs to touch. We're gonna do swan pose tonight. So it's basically a flowing cobra pose. So strengthen the back, pull your shoulder blades down the back, pull your elbows in. Inhale, float the heart up. Maybe roll the eyes up, feel that strength through the back. On our exhale, tuck the chin and drop the forehead back down to the ground. Inhale, head up, heart up. Chin can move slightly forward, but keep the back of the neck long. Exhale, squeeze the chin to the chest and try to drop the forehead or the hairline to the ground. So just a little different movement for the neck in our cobra or swan pose. Those of you that want to lift up a little bit higher on those inhales tonight, you may push a little bit through the hands, using the upper back, mid back, low back to come up a little higher, and then tuck the chin and drop it back down. Let's all flow through one more. Then the next time we inhale, lift up, we're gonna hold it for an extra breath. So I really want your legs to be nice and strong, tighten up those glutes. As we usually do, see if we can float our hands up from the ground. And then let's try to reach around and interweave all 10 fingers. If that doesn't happen tonight, just stretch your fingertips towards your heels. If we have the chest expansion, continue to squeeze the whole back side of the body. And then we'll inhale, one straight leg up from the hip. Press your hips into the ground, a subtle stretch for the front of the quads. Exhale. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale. Inhale, try to lift everything up, big squeeze. And on this exhale, we'll relax the body down to the ground. Turning the head to one side, flop the arms down beside the body, palms up. Let your heels fall open. And make some non-judgmental observations, meaning just observe, notice the body, the breath, and the brain. So we'll get a little bit more into the front of these hips stretching as our request is. So from here, bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, squeeze the elbows in. Inhale, let's float up to our cobra. And then we'll add the elbows under the shoulders and move into Sphinx pose. So the feet are still wide, the backside can actually be pretty relaxed here. So Sphinx pose, I want you to ground the forearms, pull your elbows in towards you, pull the crown of the head forward and up. You should feel a nice stretch here through those low ribs, our abdominal muscles. The back end of our body is super heavy. So we'll actually try a variation of Ardha Dhanurasana from here, or half bow. So if our legs are wide, we actually want to inch them together. This protects the knees. So you want your legs to be running down the middle of the yoga mat. We will turn our left forearm forward so that it is running now parallel to the front end of our yoga mat. The palm is down. At this point, you can drop your head back down to that forearm or keep your head up. That'll be more intense. So if you're not sure, I would bring the forehead back down. Bend your right foot up. The toes are going to point up towards the ceiling. And then same thing, we'll reach around with the right hand. This isn't the revolved version, same side. So same foot, same arm. And then I'm going to kick my foot into my right hand, simultaneously pushing both of my hips into the ground. Do tighten up your glutes. So this is holding onto the outside of the foot. Again, if you want more, press to that left forearm and lift the heart. If you want less, you can have your forehead down, and you can also just try drawing your right heel towards your glute, letting go of the kicking action. Wherever we are, breathe for 3, 2, 1. Now those of us that have hold of the foot, don't fling that foot. When you release, do so with control. Undo your grasp, relax the right foot down, stack your right arm on your left arm, relax the head down, wiggle out your low back here, just take a break, let your muscles relax. And then we'll float the head up off the hands, bring the hands under the shoulders, ground through the tops of the feet, inhale the heart up, cobra, squeeze the back. Slide those elbows forward, Sphinx pose. Press down into the forearms, pull the crown of the head forward and up, creating space and length up the spine. Backside can be a little relaxed to start. And then we'll take it to the other side. So you will turn your right forearm parallel to the front of your yoga mat. From here, you want to bring the legs a little closer together to protect the knees if you're grabbing the foot. You may bring the head down, bend the left knee, point the toes of the left foot. You'll reach around, thumb down, and take a hold of the lateral edge of the foot, top of the foot. And then you can try kicking that foot into the hand by strengthening the glutes. Pull the left shoulder back. Press your hips down, down, down. Those hip creases should not come up. Those of you that want more, float the heart up, half bow pose. Right leg should also be strong here, especially if you're kicking. Modify, head down. Simply try to draw the left heel towards the left glute. Push your hips into the ground. Wherever we are, breathe. 3, 2, 1. With control, let go of the foot if you have it. Bring the foot down, bring the left arm around, relax the head down on the hands or the forearms. Give your low back and hips a little wiggle, let it go. And then again, shin forward, hands underneath the shoulders. This time tuck those toes under, draw your low belly in, and try to push up with a neutral spine, where we will meet back and tabletop and start off with some tiny cat-cows, just to give those muscles a stretch now that we strengthen them. Those of you that want to sit it back into that child's pose, big stretch for the low back, feel free to do so for a moment. And then when we're ready, hands walk 1 hand's distance forward, toes tuck under, and we'll come into our first downward facing dog, at least of this class. Some of you may have already stretched the whole body out in our inversion here. Give yourself time to pedal those heels, opening up the eyes of the knees. Equal weight in both hands. Roll those upper arm bones away from those ears. Look at your feet. Make sure they're parallel to each other, heels sinking to the floor. They don't need to touch, but that's the energy running down through the heels. Head may float, or if you want to add that Jalandhara Bandha, we'll tuck the chin to the chest, look towards the belly button. We'll take one more breath. The next inhale, our gaze will move forward and we'll pedal, walk our feet to our hands, hands to our feet. Our choice, full Uttanasana, folding the body in half, either dangling the arms in the head as long as you have strong legs and your bandhas are engaged, or you may modify, so you may bend your knees and plant your elbows or hands on your thighs, so wherever you want to be. If you have that strong lower half of the body, do you try to let the neck and shoulders go a little bit? And then tonight, let's all bend our knees, plant our hands on our thighs, fingers turned in, squeeze that chin to the chest. And as we inhale, we're gonna stack the spine one vertebra at a time as we roll it on up. Head should be the very last thing to come up. We'll give our shoulders a little purposeful squeeze at the top, purposeful tension, so that when we exhale and we slide them down, they can release. Float those arms out slightly away from the body. Turn the palms forward, maybe even out to the sides of the room, feeling that rotation all the way in the upper arm bones. Pausing in our Tadasana. Pick up those toes, root through the mound of the big toe inner heel, mounded pinky toe outer heel. We'll unlock those knees, strengthen up through the thighs. Pull that front body into our back body. Let the heart be open and let the head be relaxed. Next inhale, both arms, draw a big circle out to the sides of the room, all the way up to the ceiling. Take a nice big stretch. Bring those palms to touch and exhale, hands to heart. So we'll go right into our little bit of balance. Let's add our heel lifts. Palm tree pose. Inhale, big circle, heels up. And exhale, lower. Let's do 2 more here. Try to grow a little taller each time. 1 more. Next, exhale, we'll drop those heels down and hands in front of our heart. If we're not still at the front of our yoga mat, let's walk there now. And we'll bring our hands directly on our hips. So we'll do our standing high lunge, which will help stretch the hip. And we'll add our little twisty movements today, which will help release all the way up through the neck. So hands on our hips stay square to the front of our mat. Let's take a big step back with that right foot into high lunge. So we're buoyant on the ball of that foot. My left knee is over my left ankle. Pull those low ribs in, anchor that tailbone towards the ground. And then I want you to take that pelvis and try to tuck it under a little bit more and really push your right hip forward. And we should feel that stretch up the hip flexor. Ooh, and it is a balance. A little bit more, let's add that right arm up. This is the half moon, which is really pretty up in the sky. Saw it this morning, crescent moon. Add that left arm. Keep rooting the tailbone, push that right hip forward, intensify that hip stretch. We'll now add our twisting. So big breath in. Exhale, rotate and twist to the left. Arms parallel, try to peek at those back fingertips. Inhale, our muscles pull us all the way back up. Exhale, open twist to the right. Good, 1 more time each side. Each inhale creates that length. Give it 1 more nice squeeze to the right hand side. Try to peek behind the body. Inhale, both arms up, face forward, hips square, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Revolved lunge. We will either keep our upper torso straight up and down and just exhale and rotate to our left. Once we're here, those of us that want to tip from the hips and hook the right elbow to the outside of the left knee, you may. Now really squeeze and compact the hips, draw the inner thighs together. Those of you in the elbow to knee position, you will make a fist in your left hand and push that left fist into the palm of your right hand. And that works as leverage to draw that left shoulder blade back more. And then you can add the rotation through the neck and either look to the back elbow or up to the ceiling. If you happen to be more upright like me, we'll stay right here and we'll all take 1 more breath. If you're in the full lunge, bring the palms back to touch. Inhale, look forward, bring the upper body to face back forward. On the exhale, step the right foot forward. Float those arms down, palms forward, Tadasana. Pause here. Inhale, big stretch, reach it up. Palms touch, exhale to heart. Start with the hands on the hips, square the hips to the front of the mat. Big step back with that left foot, straight back from the hip, high lunge. So we're buoyant, right knee over ankle. Don't hyperextend that low back, pull those low ribs in, root the upper buttock down, scoop the tail under. Take that pelvic bowl, try to give that little under and push your left hip forward, intensify the stretch here through the front of the left hip. Neck is long, head should be relaxed, throat relaxed. Ardha Chandrasana, left arm reaches up, forming that crescent moon shape through the left-hand side of the body, good. More balance work, right arm reaches up, shrug the shoulders from the ears. Take a big breath in. Exhale, squeeze the body to the right in our closed twist. Try to peek to the back hand. Inhale, pulls us up. Exhale, open twist to the left, peek behind. Good, keep that lunge. Inhale, reach up. Big exhale, big squeeze to the right. Push those arms down. Use those eyes. Inhale up. And 1 more time to the left. We'll meet on the inhale, hips and shoulders square to the front of our mat. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart center. Start rotating and twisting towards the right, either keeping the body upright, or as you're ready, you may hinge from the hips and hook your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Nice choices, everybody. Those of you that have the hook, turn your right hand into a fist, press it into the flat left palm. That can help pull your right shoulder back so that you can look back to the elbow or up to the ceiling. Squeeze your hips, compact those inner thighs, low belly pulled in. We're all gonna breathe, one more breath. For those of you hooked, bring your palms back together. Let the inhale, bring your drishti forward, lift the upper body out of the twist. And then we'll all exhale, step forward into Tadasana. Float those arms, palms turn forward. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Pause and breathe. And then again, inhale, big stretch up. Palms touch, exhale to heart. So let's do one more balance tonight. We will do a variation of half bow, sometimes called Natarajasana, Lord of the Dance pose, or Ardha Dhanurasana. So we'll repeat what we did in all fours with one hand to foot, what we did on our bellies, and maybe we'll do something like that here. But we won't force it. We might not even have the foot tonight. So to start, we want to bring the insides of the feet and legs to touch. Arms are in our Tadasana. So for the modification, what we'll do is we'll just step our right foot back slightly. So our left leg is going to be doing the work. Bring your hands to your hips to kind of balance you. I want you to squeeze those knees together, and then using the strength of your glute, your hamstring, hover the right foot behind us tonight. And the shin bone might just come parallel to the floor. Squeeze the hips, pull the front body in. This is an intense enough pose on its own. If you want to take it a step further, you turn your right elbow into the rib cage and the palm is up to the ceiling. Without twisting your wrist, you drop the arm straight down. You reach to the inside of the right foot where that high arch is. If you can take hold of that foot, you'll feel your shoulder getting a stretch. And you may start to kick that foot into the hand. You notice my upper half of the body hasn't moved yet. I'm not trying to do the hinge at the hips, any of that business. At that point, the left arm reaches up beside the ear. You're squeezing your glutes. Both knees should be pointing, or one knee pointing straight down to the ground, knees together. If you can be here, you may start to try to kick that foot back. It will pull your right shoulder back, and then you start hinging over that left thigh bone and coming into the tip. But it's more about stretching the hips. So push your hips forward, squeeze the glute. Big, powerful pose. If you have the foot, right shoulder is getting pulled back. It's like a bow and arrow. 3, 2, 1. If we have the foot, no flinging of the feet. Bring your left hand back to the hip. Release the foot. The foot should still be up in the air. Right hand to hip. Unless we lose our balance, which is fine. Right foot comes down. Float those arms out. Take a breath. Big, powerful pose. Let it go. Inhale, arms up. Palms touch. Exhale to our center. Step the insides of the legs and feet to touch. So again, compact and squeeze. We can start with our hands on our hips. So we'll step our left foot back just a little bit so the right leg knows it's going to be doing the balancing. Squeeze that glute and hamstring and just try to bend the left knee. You can point to the toes. And then if you're here, you can stay here holding. Or we'll turn our left elbow in, the palm is facing the ceiling. And then you just straighten the arm. Don't flip the wrist. And you try to reach for the inside of the foot, so at the inner arch. That keeps your shoulder open. There is a variation where you flip to the outside like we did on our belly, but usually in the standing pose, we open the chest. Knees are together, left knee's pointing straight down to the ground. Do not let it flare out to the side. If we have the foot, shoulder may get pulled back, right arm up beside the ear. Breathe here. And if we want to add that kicking action, The upper body stays perfectly upright to start. Eventually the thigh comes parallel to the floor, and then that action tips at the pelvis. So you don't literally try to tip yourself. The action of the kick and the leg going up will force the upper body down. Wherever we are, hold and breathe for 3, 2, 1. With control, the foot should stay up because those muscles should be working. Release the foot, hand to hip, hand to hip. Release the foot down. Float the arms out, keep your focus. And big breath in, let's reach everything up to the ceiling, stretch. Palms touch, exhale to our center. So we'll find the tops of our mats again if we've moved around. So we'll walk our way back to the top. We'll stand tall in Tadasana, equal weight in the feet. One more time, inhale, reach it out and up. Drishti to those thumbs for a very gentle back bend. This exhale bends the knees. We swan dive from the hips back into our forward fold, whatever that looks like for us tonight. Taking a moment or two here, once again, to release the neck and shoulders. Good. Let's inhale into a halfway lift, so squeeze the upper back, open the heart, stretch the crown of the head forward. And then exhale, bend the knees, plant those hands, big step back into our plank position. Holding our planks tonight, just creating some strength and stillness. Compact the hips, press into the earth. Pull that low belly in and up. Be mindful of where the head is in space. And let's try to hold for just one more breath tonight. Next inhale, we'll float those hips up to the ceiling. And then exhale, shift the weight all the way down the backs of the legs into those heels. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Adding Jalandhara Bandha, drawing the chin to the chest, looking to the belly button as a different variation. And then we'll inhale, float our heels up as high as we can. And exhale, drop down to those knees, point the toes, and we'll slide ourselves back into child's pose one more time. This time the hands can come all the way back to the feet, and we'll release the weight of the arms to the ground and head to the ground. And then hands under the shoulders, tuck the chin. Let's inhale and roll it on up. So tonight we're shifting our hips over to one side, bringing our feet forward. And I'm going to give us the option, well, we'll save that. We're going to come down onto our backs. I am going to give us the option of practicing Salamba Sharvangasana tonight, which is supported shoulder stand. I'm not going to practice it. I haven't been practicing shoulder stand in some time, so I'm definitely not ready for that for my low back. So our modification for shoulder stand will either be waterfall pose with our low back on a yoga block or supported bridge pose. If you do have a shoulder stand practice at home in your personal practice, please, we're not there yet. We're not going there yet. We're going to do that at the very end. Generally, you want to have a folded blanket, and I'll just remind us, do not do this if you have any spinal, neck, or shoulder injuries. And you should have a few inches of blanket. When you place your blanket on your mat, you can either roll your mat back over, but you're going to want some cushion for the head. The edge of the blanket is about 2 fingers to the tops of the shoulders. So when you come down, you would lower your shoulders down. I'm just showing us this now while we're all seated up. You should have about 2 fingers from the tops of your shoulders to the edge of your folded blanket. You would walk your shoulder blades under. Some people go into plow pose before they go into shoulder stand. Your head is on the ground. I usually go from bridge pose and then bring my knees in and press it up. So that's gonna be your options, but the rest of us will be doing either waterfall or supported bridge pose. But we're not there yet because we're gonna do our funky quad stretch first, since I got a request for front of the quads and hips. So either walk yourself down to your back tonight or plant the soles of those feet, open those knees, reach it forward and roll it down tonight. Once we all end it down on the ground, let's take our long body stretch, loosen up the clothing, stretch the legs straight down the middle of the mat, the arms overhead. On the exhale, we float the arms down, draw the shoulder blades under, and we walk our feet in. Lengthen out that low back. And then hug our knees into the body and give ourselves a little rock side to side here. So we'll bring the knees to neutral, feet are parallel to each other. The feet are very relaxed. Cross the right ankle on top of the left ankle. Reach down with the right arm and try to take a hold of the top of the left foot or the toes with the right hand. Right foot will float up just enough to get it out of the way. Our left knee should point straight up to the ceiling. Don't let it flare out. And then we're going to exhale and drop that left knee straight forward as we pull the left foot towards our right buttock. This might want to throw your hips out of alignment or overarch your low back. So you got to make sure you're lengthening the side bodies, sinking that low back into the ground. And then I'll go through our options. So first option, just to kind of hang out here, your arms can relax beside you. Or we'll bring our hands to our right shin bone. And as we draw our right knee to right shoulder, we're still drawing the left knee down to the ground. So we should feel this across the front of the left thigh and hip. Shoulders down, elbows pulling in. See how that feels? Let's explore another variation. You can always go back to it. Bring the sole of the right foot down in front of the ankle and then let the right knee fall open. For myself, this intensifies that stretch up the front of my left quad and hip flexor. Some of you might have liked the other variations better. Just go back to them. Keep the low back flat to the floor. Keep the side bodies as equal in length as possible. And one more way to make this a bigger stretch, reach the arms overhead, clasp opposite elbows, and try to walk your elbows a little further away from the body. Relax the face, the mouth, tongue, and jaw. Focus on that exhale to let go of tension and tightness we might find. One more breath. Slide those hands down. Float the right knee up. We need to pull the right foot up so that we can safely slide the left foot out. Drop both feet flat to the floor. They can be a little wider than the hips. And just do some small windshield wiper movement side to side with the knees. And then other side, draw the belly in to hug those knees in. Relax the feet. Cross the left ankle on top of the right ankle. Reach down with the left arm. Take a hold of the top of the right foot or the toes with the left hand. Left foot just gets out of the way. Lift it up a little bit. Right knee, point it straight up to the ceiling. We want it to fall straight forward from the hip, not out at an angle if possible. Try to bring that right foot over towards the left buttock a little bit more. Very normal for one side to feel very different than the other. Sink that low back. You can just relax the arms out here. Or take a hold of that left shin bone with the hands. Shoulders down, elbows in. As we draw the left knee to the left shoulder, we're still encouraging the right knee down to the ground. Next variation, drop the left foot to the floor. We allow this knee to fall open like Baddha Konasana. It might intensify that stretch for the front of the right quad and hip. Keep the side bodies equal. Reach the arms overhead. Take the opposite grip of the elbows. Walk the elbows away. Let the weight of the body sink. Close the eyes and breathe. One more breath. If we have those elbows, let's slide our arms down. Bring the left knee back up. Float the left foot up, get it out of the way. Slide the right foot out. Both feet drop to the floor, little rock side to side. So at this point, you can go through finishing series. If you are taking Salamba Sharvangasana, we should never kick up or throw ourselves up into an inversion. So there should be no momentum used to get into an inversion, ever, ever, ever. The only exception is handstand because you're on your hands. But anytime there's any pressure on your neck, your joints, shoulder stand, headstand, never use momentum, never kick it up. If you do not have the strength and flexibility to use your muscles to lift you up into an inversion, you should not be doing it. So that is your warning. Please heed it. I've seen too many people damage themselves permanently trying to do inversions. So if you want to do your shoulder stand, you're welcome if that's in your personal practice. If you want to join me in taking a modification, I'll show you those. Those of you that might be going into shoulder stand, you have the option to move into Halasana and Karnapidasana, which is plow and ear pressure pose. In your shoulder stand, you should be doing about 25 breaths, plow pose, 10 breaths, ear closure, 5 breaths, and then you always finish with Matsyasana or fish pose. Those of us who are taking a modification, we'll have our yoga blocks handy. We'll flatten out our back, shoulders under. We'll tighten up the buttock, slide that block underneath our low back. So all these poses redirect this energy into our throat center. Supported bridge pose, just make sure you have some energy between those knees and thighs. Even full bridge pose, those of us that have been sitting at a desk all day, we would really benefit from this posture. Those of you that want this little extra inversion, you're welcome to bring the knees in one at a time and use your muscles to hold your legs up in waterfall pose on the yoga block. And like I said, if you have the ability, the strength and the flexibility to get yourself in your inversion without kicking or momentum, please do so. So we'll be holding this last pose unless you're moving through a series of poses for a few minutes here. If you're in shoulder stand, weight should be into the shoulders. Your elbows should be in line with the shoulders. Palms of the hands supporting that low back. Fingers pointing up towards the ceiling. Elbows should not be flaring out beyond the shoulders. And your hips should be stacked over the shoulders, feet floating up above the hips. Some schools of yoga tell you to keep the whole body engaged. Others encourage relaxed feet. I always tell people to explore the pose and do what feels right in that moment. It might change. Wherever we are, the breath should always remain smooth and steady through the nose. You might even use a soft ujjayi breath here to help stimulate that throat center even more. If the breath ever becomes labored or strained, that is a good signal that we've overdone it and we need to slowly release the pose and press the pause button for a moment. Otherwise, concentrate the mind on the breath, on the throat center. So we're a little over halfway there. If anybody is moving through that finishing series of Halasana and Karnapidasana, you should be nearing the end. So be in Halasana or ear pressure pose. If we've been holding waterfall pose this whole time, maybe we drop the feet to the floor and pause in supported bridge pose for these last few breaths. So if you're in Karnapidasana or Halasana, again, you should be able to use your muscles to stretch the legs and the body back up to shoulder stand. You release the arms to the ground, palms down, thumbs should be touching, and then you pike out of the pose. So you scoop the tailbone, and you should be able to articulate, again with control, all the way down through the spine, one vertebra at a time. The legs stay together, and then you extend the legs. You're sitting on your hands, and then you thrust the heart up. No weight on the crown of the head, but the crown of the head falls towards the floor in fish pose. Those of us in supported waterfall or bridge pose, squeeze the buttocks, the backs of thighs, lift up just enough to slide our blocks out. Give yourself a little rock side to side. Fish pose is the counter to shoulder stand always. You don't hold it as long. Maybe just 3 to 5 breaths maximum. And then you tuck the chin, release your arms out, and lie in Shavasana for a moment. And it's time to wind things down for this evening. So if you feel like you need a happy baby or a windshield wiper side to side to do a final twist, release the back, do so. If you want to organize yourself back where we started and the legs up the wall, or bringing the legs over a seat of a chair or over your pillows or bolsters, you can start moving in that direction. So I'll give us just another 30 to 60 seconds here, or as long as you need, don't rush, but balance yourself out, get yourself organized, situated, and comfy. And then once we've gotten everything in place and where we want to be tonight, we will finish our practice right where we started, with taking a moment to let the mind settle into the body, onto the breath, and eventually allowing the mind, the body, the spirit to all come together, to be absorbed into each other. A place where everything else disappears, or everything else is absorbed into us. Let a quality of heaviness come over the whole body. Relax all the muscles in the body. Loosen up all the joints. Pay special attention to the little muscles around the face. Unfurl the brow. Poof the cheeks. Release the tongue and lower jaw to gravity. Relax the outer ear, the inner ears, all the way down inside of the throat. Let the arms hang heavy beside the body. Feel the weight of the legs. The breath should become easy and quiet, letting go of any ujjayi pranayama, any forced breathing. Let it flow on its own. If the mind wanders, we gently bring it back to this peaceful breath. Or we can focus our mind's eye on the throat center tonight, our place of communication, creativity, expression, and truth. Giving ourselves permission for just one more moment today to let go and to simply be and breathe. So we'll slowly start to come back to that natural rhythm of our breath. And we'll breathe life back into our body. Wherever we are, you can just add tiny little movement through the toes, the fingertips. If you've taken legs up the wall or on the chair, remember at the wall, slide your feet down, open the knees in Baddha Konasana for a moment. If your legs are on a chair, you can stretch them out one at a time. If we're on the floor, we'll walk our feet in. You can hug your knees in or stretch your legs out and arms overhead. Just any natural movement that your body's craving to wake up. Side to side stretching, rocking. And once we feel like we've woken things up just enough, we'll all draw our knees in, make space with our props, bring our right arm beside our head, and pause on our right hand side for a moment. And then keeping our eyes soft or closed, we'll turn the heart towards the ground, press down, and bring our bodies back up just for another moment to take a couple breaths together tonight. So we'll revisit any comfortable seated posture. We'll find our sit bones and sit up as tall as possible for the crown of the head. Being mindful of all of our surroundings, we'll float our arms out beside the body, turning the palms up. Inhale, breathing. Let's reach those arms up to the ceiling, and let's gather up everything we need for the rest of our evening. On the exhale, turn the palms out, float the fingertips back to the floor, and let go of all that other junk we don't need. And one more time, inhale, arms up. Bringing the palms to touch, exhaling, hands to heart, and humbly bowing the head down to the heart to honor and thank ourselves, our bodies, each other, and anyone else for making it possible for us to practice our yoga together today. If you'd like to join me in chanting the Om Shanti mantra, please do so. Otherwise, just sit with the breath for a moment. To chant, we begin by taking a deep breath in through the nose. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Tat Sat. And I thank all of you so much for your dedicated practice, for showing up. It's so nice to see you guys and to share yoga with you all. So, do you have any questions or comments? Please share. It's getting so dark. I'm crawling over. I can't see us anymore. I'll come into the light of my laptop. I hope that felt good for you guys.
Yes, it did. Very good class, Joanne.
Good, thank you.
It's coming down and end of the day.
Yep.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joanne. That
Hi,
was great.
Nancy.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Chaya. Hi, Kathy.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
We'll see
That
you
was
Sunday.
great.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay.
We'll do more of that. Bye, Vidya. I'll be back Sunday morning. So you guys have a good rest of
Okay.
your week and take care of yourselves.
You
Okay,
too.
bye-bye.
Too.
Too.
Bye,
Thank
Vidya.
you.
Bye.
Good night.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Bye-bye.